you mentioned Blaze Jordan. We didn't necessarily discuss all of the players that were acquired via trade for the Cardinals yesterday with Claiborne. But one thing that was important to talk about, Joe, is that Blaze Jordan was drafted by Chaim Bloom. So if anybody understands and is aware of the impact that Blaze Jordan can have on an organization, it is Chaim Bloom. So the value there makes a ton of sense. And as Clabe said, he was surprised that they didn't trade more, that he felt that they didn't trade enough people. And I am one that is around the organization from afar. Claves is there every single day. I'm keen to believe that maybe Claiborne has the right opinion on this, is that there were more pieces to give up. And getting Blaze Jordan for a rental of Steven Matz is big because of the team's lack of right-handed power-hitting bats.
The last time that Chris Pelican and I sat here for the trade deadline show. We were on the air as the deadline approached, as it hit, and as we saw trades trickle through. And I said it from that moment that I was fine with the guys they traded. I was disappointed they didn't trade more, because when you look at it and you still look at it, even after the weekend's done and you look at everything, the way the team is kind of built right now, tell me what the door is, what the window is to get JJ Wetherholt in the lineup every day. They didn't create that. Nolan Arenado going on the IL for who knows how long, I still don't think opens that up. Like you still needed to trade. It feels like another piece. Like Nolan Arenado going away or not being a part of the team next year, it makes it possible, sure. But there are still too many roadblocks in place for JJ Wetherholt. And I think you kind of pointed out yesterday what Katie Wu tweeted out was that the best place for JJ Weather, the way that he impacts you is being in St. Louis. Like you get him up here and you figure it out after that. But right now it's one of those where, yeah, absolutely. You get him up here, you put him in the lineup, and, screw whoever's feelings are hurt by not being in the lineup every day. But JJ Wetherholt's proving himself now in Memphis. Give him that opportunity, as opposed to just a bunch of guys hitting in the 220s right now and just kind of struggling their way through this runway.
And what it does is it reduces players to being bench bats or platoon players. Thomas Saggese at the beginning of the year had to play every single day. He was as hot as anyone on the Cardinals when he first came up. And then you send him back down. He's even hotter at AAA. You bring him back up as a bench piece, and he's been struggling ever since.
Yep.
So even if you trade guys, you're not necessarily getting the exact value back that you think. You are still freeing up room for less logjam. And I've got to give credit to Ollie Marmol. I know the fans aren't going to want to hear this, but to be able to navigate the logjam that he has had and give these guys regular plate appearances, it deserves a ton of credit. Yes, things have worked out now with not worked out in a positive way per se, but things have worked out in a logjam way for the Cardinals, where with Arenado being on the IL, you get more at-bats for Gorman, which then in turn gets more at-bats for X and Y and Z, and the domino effect tends to fall. What you're not seeing is where it was an infield logjam early in the year, it's now an outfield logjam, because now you're working Herrera into left field. You're getting Nootbaar in center and in right field. You've got to keep Burleson in there every single day. So I was surprised, not necessarily because I think that these guys can't contribute. I think that they all can in some way, shape, or form. I was surprised they didn't address it for prospects at the deadline, because they needed to make room for the players that are already on the major league roster, not just JJ Wetherholt.
And I think it's a case too. I mean, we've had this runway. We've seen this runway. How many of these guys are at, 1,000 at bats or 1,500 at, like how many of these guys have 2-3 years worth of at bats that you're willing to, say, okay, we've seen enough. And what is that number that you can look at and you've seen enough on? Like Victor Scott's not there yet. Victor Scott has struggled this year at the plate. He has played Gold Glove level defense. There's not a chance in hell that you're giving up on Victor Scott yet. You're saying that we've seen enough. Maybe we see more of Lars Nootbaar in center field as the year goes on, because Ollie Marmol's still trying to win games. And you could sit here and say, this team's not good. Okay, Ollie, Ollie's still going to win games. That's his job, is to go out there and put those guys out there to win these games. And maybe right now, the final 2 months, maybe that does mean more Lars Nootbaar in center. And maybe you're showcasing if Lars Nootbaar can play center for another organization to make him more valuable to trade at the end of this year. Because I'll tell you what, Lars Nootbaar is going to become a darling again in March of 26 when he's playing center field for Japan. And you want to show now, hey, he could be this for you. Because by March of 26, if Lars Nootbaar is the trade chip that you have, you need to get rid of him by November, December of 2025 before you get to that point. So show him off there now. And maybe it does cost Victor Scott some at-bats, but he has played a lot of center field up until this point, to where up until right now, you do kind of have an idea of what 2025 Victor Scott looks like and what he needs to work on this offseason to be even more valuable piece to you next year.
Yeah, and the conversation about Lars Nootbaar is so puzzling because you know that he has all the talent in the world, but it is resemblant of the Dylan Carlson conversation. Is under the hood, all of his metrics say this. Well, his numbers, if you look at them, they say this. They say the opposite. And he's getting there, but he's been injured most of his career. He does provide a ton of value. I think there's a team out there that would love to have Lars Nootbaar and what he does for you at the plate, but when you look at this team right now, you have to understand that Ollie Marmol not only needs to win because it's his job to win, but this is the team that by a pretty wide majority would be the team that we're seeing in 2026. So you need to learn how to win with this group. Yes, you could supplement with a few pieces this offseason, but I don't think they're going to tear everything down. If they were going to tear everything down, they would have traded a whole lot more on this trade deadline and gotten everything back that they possibly could have. So you need to learn how to win with this group, because this is going to be your team by and large in 2026.
I looked it up here quickly, just because for my own sake, I wanted to see where Jordan Walker was. Jordan Walker, it seems like we have, he's been here for 3 years now, but it's been a lot of up and down for 3 years. I would have thought in that time that he would have had 1,000 at bats by now. Not even close. 847 for his career with at bats. You cannot say that you know who Jordan Walker is with that little at bats. That's not a whole lot of at bats for an everyday starter. That's less than a year and a half of at bats for a guy that's going to start 150 games a year for you. So there is still so much to find out with a guy like a Jordan Walker, who, again, I get it's frustrating. Like he was 9th in your order yesterday. A guy like Jordan Walker, when you see what he has the capabilities of doing, it's crazy to think that he'd be a number 9 hitter in the lineup. That's just where you are right now with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's OPSing, I believe, under 600, 594 for the OPS for Jordan Walker, which is not at all what you want. And all the changes, it makes you wonder, how does that affect him? He's still young. It's a very difficult game. It's a game of failure and a game of adjustment. So we just have to hope that Jordan Walker will adjust, because on the defensive end, he certainly has done that.